I'm a software engineer, with a full-time job and a side hustle of doing freelance coding work in my own time. I've always been the type to have a side hustle I put a lot of my free time into. I get really bored sitting idle. My freelance hourly rates are $60 an hour, and at my full-time job, my hourly pay works out to about $40 an hour. So that's how I value my time. Anyway, over Christmas vacation, I was staying at my parents' house. My cousin was also staying over with her 3 young kids from Christmas to New Year's. I'd been planning on doing some work on my freelance projects when I had free time, in the mornings when my family had no plans. I wasn't in any rush. I was already ahead of schedule on them all, but I didn't really have anything else to do. It was in a really rural area and it's like an hour drive to the nearest anything. Then my cousin and her husband asked if I could babysit all day for 3 days, so they could visit some friends in the area and hang out with just adults. I said I had planned on doing freelance work at the library, and she offered to pay me to babysit. I said I could if they got close to my freelance rates. She wanted a number, and although my freelance rates are $60, I didn't feel like that was right. It was high. But I didn't want to go too low. Honestly, babysitting 3 kids would be harder for me than the routine coding work I had for my freelance project. I don't know a lot about kids and I've never babysat for long, and I had a feeling it would be stressful and difficult. So I said $35, which is below what I make hourly at work, and what is the bare minimum I'd value my time for, if that time is spent doing difficult work. And she went crazy at me, saying that's a ridiculous rate for babysitting, that I was entitled and being selfish, that I'm trying to take advantage of how she didn't have other options, etc. I said that's way below what I'd be making if I had the time to do my own work, and I'd be putting off my own work to babysit. Her husband then got mad at me saying that I was a 24-year-old girl, that I'm damn near a child myself, that my time is not worth that much and it's childish to say that it was. And that I was a stupid girl for not knowing that babysitting costs like $15 an hour. When I grew up and have kids of my own, I will see how stupid I was being. I was kind of done with being called stupid, so I just told them I hoped they could find someone else. My mom thinks that I asked for something offensive, and my cousin and her husband obviously did too. AITA for giving that number.
NTA and GT. And she went crazy at me, saying that's a ridiculous rate for babysitting, that I was entitled and being selfish, that I'm trying to take advantage of how she didn't have other options, etc. I would have bowed out immediately and told her to have fun dealing with no options. And GT, her husband, then got mad at me saying that I was a 24-year-old girl, that I'm damn near a child myself, that my time is not worth that much and it's childish to say that it was. And that I was a stupid girl for not knowing that babysitting costs like $15 an hour. When I grew up and have kids of my own, I will see how stupid I was being. Yes, what a stupid girl you are for knowing what your time is worth. Face with rolling eyes.
NTA. A. If they need a babysitter that badly, they should have arranged for one in advance. B. You're being asked to babysit 3 kids. 3 kids is a lot of work. $15 sounds kinda absurd to me. C. You have your own life and an actual job that you would be neglecting, or freelance at least, that is worth almost double that amount. D. The only offensive ones are your cousin and husband, who started calling you names when you didn't bend to their will.
NTA. You're a stupid little girl who pulls $60 per hour freelancing. I just started Salesforce training and I'd be happy to make half that freelancing. Good for you. Edit. To everyone saying, she should have said no, she did, she explicitly told them she was going to the library to do some coding work. That's when they offered to pay her
$35 an hour for watching the 3 kids. Where were you when my 3 kids needed babysitting? My wife and I hardly went out, and never for very long, because we were being charged $20 per hour per kid. NTA. Op. It's your time and you charge what you think your time is worth. It's up to the customer to decide if they agree or if they think they can get the same service for less somewhere else.
NTA. If they really wanted to go away for 3 days, they should have arranged a sitter in advance. The husband saying you're a 24-year-old girl, by the way, you're a woman at 24, and your time isn't worth anything is ridiculous considering you'd get paid $60 an hour if you don't babysit their kids. The husband sounds like a sexist dick. Plus you told them you wouldn't babysit if they couldn't approach your rate. You probably should have just said no from the start, but you did inform them that it would be expensive. Don't worry about it too much.
NTA. She offered to pay you, you named your price, she didn't like it. Maybe she expected a discount. I would have gone with nah, except you actually named a price that isn't outside the norm compared to the going rates in my area. The general rule used to be $15 an hour for one kid, $20 an hour for 2 kids, but she has 3 young ones. When I had 3 younger kids I was quoted $30 an hour.
NTA. 3 kids all day, for 3 straight days. Even real babysitters would charge more than $15 for 3 kids. Obviously they wanted you to do it as a favor, and got upset that you treated it as an actual job.
NTA, because asking someone who is also on vacation to watch your kids for 3 days is kind of shitty. An evening, sure, but 3 whole days is crazy.
NTA. You are the only one who can put a price on your time, because it's coming from your own life.